Hello, good evening. Thank you to those of you joining us live either on YouTube or on Facebook or Twitch. We appreciate you. We had a few live viewers last evening for our Christmas spectacular. You can catch that on this very feed. The previous episode, it was an awful lot of fun, but we are here for Balls and Brew, the sports arm of the Morgan Podcasting Network. My name is Rod Morgan. I will serve as your host, the co-host for all things here on the Morgan Podcasting Network. Basically, the second man in charge. We'd be nothing without him. He's the executive producer. He's in charge of the content. He presses all the important buttons. All I really do is talk and have ideas. He's the glue. He's James Thomas Jamriska. Jimmy, what's up?
Rod, it's been a festive time here on the Morgan Podcasting Network. We've had a lot of fun over the past couple of weeks, and I, as always, apparently now, love football.
It's awful easy to love football when your team plays the Browns, but we will get to that in just a second. We are a man down this week. The old man, I think there was a problem with the horse throwing a shoe, something about the feed mill. I don't know. There was a whole lot of nonsense about why the old man could not join us this evening, but he will be back with us next week just in time for our Christmas spectacular. But we would be nothing without our football handicapper, our guy, crunching the numbers, making the plays, Josh Williams. Josh, hello.
What's up, boys? I went 2-0 again against the spread last week, so we're on good terms there, trying to end strong. But I just wanted to shout out, I listened to the Christmas draft movie party, or the Christmas movie draft pod yesterday that you guys recorded last night. It was awesome. I loved it. So anybody who has not listened to that yet definitely needs to listen.
And you think the best draft pick made was me when I took Prancer? Is that how I understand it?
I gotta say, I have not checked out Prancer yet, Rod, but I have checked out Office Christmas Party, and that is some debauchery there. I love that pick. And I'm not surprised that nobody else really saw that movie. But anytime you get a pod with Kate, the Mrs. Morgan, and Roberts in there, I just had a big smile on my face the whole time listening to it. It was awesome.
Yeah, they kind of no-sold me on Office Christmas Party. And speaking of being no-sold, Jimmy, after I listened back, I heard this. The Mrs. Morgan, kind of threw you under the bus. She was like, "You guys aren't from Northern Indiana. You don't know." And meanwhile, you're sitting there like, "Hey, I'm from Plymouth. What are you talking about? Don't chuck me in there."
I'm like, hi. Like, I was in on all the Prancer, WSBT TV, all the news station casts and all that stuff on it. Yeah, I know Prancer. Don't think I don't know Prancer. Calm down, Kate.
All right. Well, we're going to keep with the holiday theme here for the cold open question of the week. All right. Christmas is a time for treats. Let's just be honest, right? We got holiday banking competitions that make their way onto the tube. You got your grandmas, your aunts, your neighbors. People are bringing in stuff to the office. Then you're going to have your Christmas feast with treats everywhere. The time to get treaty is the holidays. So my question then to you is, Jimmy Jamriska, what treats are you looking forward to gorging yourself on here as we roll towards Christmas?
So this is on Katie's side of the family. It's a tradition they've had forever, generations and generations. It's on her German side. It's 700 years old. It's called Stullen. It's it's a pastry, yeasted bread, if you will. Think of a moist, flaky cinnamon roll. It's a little bit more dense than a cinnamon roll. You wrap it and you bake it and you put some nice white icing on it. Some people put some fruit in it. We don't do that. We just have the pastry itself. It's really good, and we can only have it. There are rules, Rod. Believe me, there are rules. You can make things all the time. No. Only Christmas you can have it. Easter as well, but that's only like a one-day thing. Christmas, you can have it at all the different Christmas parties. So Stullen is my favorite. It's fantastic. We've actually had a little bit already.
So the Germans having strict rules, I'm completely shocked to hear that is the case there. And if you said it's Christmas and Easter, apparently it has an awful lot to do with Jesus. So shout out to him, right? We celebrate when he is risen, and we celebrate his birthday, apparently, with the German. What'd you say that stuff was called? Strauss? Strahlen?
Yeah.
Stullen. Like that. That sounds good to me. Sounds a little bit like like a German, maybe like a monkey bread, right? Because like, monkey bread's another one like that. Why I would do every Christmas morning with my mom, right? Where you get basically, you just kind of make these little small balls and you get them with cinnamon sugar and you pop them in a thing and you bake it out and then you cover it with some type of a glaze. Good stuff. Sounds like it might be similar there. Williams looks to be salivating over there. Williams, is it a brownie? Is it a cookie? Is it a cake? Is it a pie? What treats is, because you got to have a cheat day at least on Christmas Day. We all know that you're about your protein powder and your workouts and your sets, but you got to have a cheat day a little bit around Christmas time.
That's true. And shout out to Monkey Bread. I know exactly what you're talking about, Rod. I'm not as fancy as Jimmy. I just want a super fudgy brownie. I mean, there's nothing better than that. I don't need the sprinkles. I don't need the powdered sugar. Just give me simple, basic. It's got to be super fudgy. I don't want the cakey of brownie. Super fudgy. But if we're going like something more specific about the pumpkin cream cheese roll, like I'm not even a big like pumpkin guy, but there's something about that pumpkin. The cream cheese roll is just fantastic.
Love that. That's a great shout out there. I am a big pumpkin guy as well. A pumpkin cookie, right? They're like these little small cookies that get like a dollop, but kind of like, I guess it's like some sort of a brown sugar type. I don't know, man. They're dynamite cookies. They're my absolute favorites. I would request those from the mother, every year around Christmas time. Those are my absolute favorites. But the other one that I always shout out, I make sure to bring this up quite often. It is the official state pie of Indiana, and that is a sugar cream pie. Oh my goodness. I'm talking the consistency of a pumpkin pie, but it is just sugar cream. I love me a sugar cream pie. My sister, God bless her, used to get me a huge sugar cream pie from one of those specialty pie shops down in, I think, Rochester every year. And she'd give it to me. And then every year she'd hand me the box. It was always like real heavy and you'd have to be real careful. And I'd always be like, oh, I know what's in there. And then I'd have me a sugar cream pie for a good week. Great stuff. Love treats around the holidays. You know what else we're going to love around the holidays? Football.
So, hey, Rod, just so you know.
Go ahead, Jimmy. Go ahead.
Oh, Chris actually texted me. His favorite treat is called mersu, and that is from Mesopotamia 3,800 years ago. So he actually helped invent that.
Nice.
And he has had that every single year since then. It's basically the precursor to plum pudding. Obviously, with Chris, he needs to watch what he eats, so the pudding is easier to eat.
Nice. Okay, that's good. I'm glad
you're not here. You're getting it, Chris.
Yeah, I'm glad that the old man had a chance to ring in there with what was that stuff called? What did you say it was called? Meso what? Masa?
Mersu, M-E-R-S-U, Mersu from Mesopotamia. I don't know. I just
absolutely
looked up the oldest known Christmas treat. Chris does like his mom's peanut butter fudge, though. Shout out to Chris's mom's peanut butter.
Oh, yeah, Linda, man. Linda makes some mean peanut butter fudge. I'm pretty sure I've had some of that before. Shout out to Linda King on that one. You know what else we're going to get around the holiday season, Jimmy and Williams? We're getting a lot of football. The NFL is going to come at us with football. We got games on Saturday this weekend. We got a game happening tonight as we record. We got Monday. We got games on Christmas Day. They're loading us all up. So let's dive into it by talking a little bit about last week before we get to this week. Jimmy, Chris isn't here to celebrate with us, but our guy, the Bolo Tie, going into that game, he was the source of a lot of jokes. People weren't really sure how it was going to go. We've got to be realistic. It was not great, but it was good enough, right? I mean, for being 44 years old and coming off the street, he wasn't the reason the Colts lost that game. He played well enough to keep them in it. It was like a sports movie, man. Like, let's go. Dennis Quaid's probably too old to play him now, but you know what I mean? That was total sports movie stuff there. And when he had that chance at the end, Jimmy, to maybe drive him down for one last field goal, I was like, this is crazy.
Well, and he did. That's the thing. He won the game. Their defense just didn't agree with it. I thought it was fun to see him out there. And it was also after that first pass, you're like, oh, wait, that is how he always throws the ball. Listening to him talk this week has been very encouraging as well. He's not going to throw the ball 60 yards. We know that. That was the game plan, to run the ball, go short. Now we need to expand a little bit, not too much, and see what happens. He's not mobile, never has been, but he knows the playbook. He knows everything. They can do what they want to. I thought he did a really good job, and anyone who's saying he was horrible or it was an embarrassment, they just didn't watch the game. He did fine. He didn't do great. He didn't do bad. He did fine.
You know what else he earned for himself, Jimmy? I believe he becomes the first ever 2-time back-to-back winner of something, doesn't he?
He is my face of the week again, because just listening to him talk, the humility, the love of the game, love of his teammates. He said, gosh darn it, even on the when there's a bad play, just everything is just kind of a cool thing with him. I loved everything about it. I wish him the best this week as well. And let's just enjoy this. But like he said, though, Rod, it's a great story. Wins is all that matters.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that the Colts are going to get a lot of those and sneak into the playoffs, but I'm still incredibly excited to see the boatload tie play Williams. I mean, you have to be like us, right? It wasn't, he didn't come out there and turn back the clock and look like 37-year-old Phillip Rivers, but he proved that knowing the position of quarterback and being smart and being able to execute short throws in today's NFL can work. And it just goes to show how so many of these guys that come in as backups can't even do that. Because here, 44-year-old Phillip Rivers off the street almost won a game with a good script from a great coach like Shane Steichen.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. There's something about experience and poise at the quarterback position. He knows how to run the offense. He knows his limitations. He knows he has to get the ball out quickly. A lot of these young quarterbacks try to do too much. He wasn't going to do that. I'm with Jimmy. I love his press conferences. And he's out there talking smack, but he doesn't cuss. And he's so feisty, man. And you can tell he's put on a good 20, 30 pounds since the last time he played. And he's so accurate. He's got nothing. I mean, some of those throws were just ducks, but my God, I can't believe how accurate he was. And he's playing against a good defense. And by the way, there should be a clause in football where if a 44-year-old quarterback throws a touchdown and the opposing team who he's playing doesn't score a single touchdown, I don't care how many field goals you kick, 17, whatever, that team should not win. The Colts should have won that game. And, that sucks. That sucks that they lost that game. That would have been a storybook. It still is a storybook, like kind of fairy tale with the Colts, how everything has gone wrong in the last 4 weeks, and then Rivers has kind of saved the day. But yeah, I'm hoping that the Colts can put up a fight on Monday night against San Fran. So we'll see how the second game goes.
Jason Myers out here winning fantasy playoff games for people, probably with 22 points, except for this guy, because I had to play this other guy on the screen with me who had Trevor Lawrence, who put up 44 points. Jimmy Jam, you absolutely wore me out in the first week of our
He was my backup
playoffs.
Face.
Yeah. He should be. He really he won it for you.
Purely, yeah. He was great. Yeah, he did.
Speaking of something else that was great.
Dropping him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, no, not shout out to Wu-Tang. He is not going to get a congratulations to me for dropping Phillip Rivers and then single-handedly being the reason that I lost in the first round of the playoffs. I just don't need him. Rod. You know what I mean? He's just taking up room on my bench. What do I need him for? I'm smarter than everybody. Thanks, Wu-Tang. Appreciate you, as always. You know what else the Bears fans appreciated?
Buttons are being pushed, and I love it.
Sanders. They appreciated Shador Sanders not looking anything like he did the week before and looking an awful lot like a fifth-round quarterback. Your Bears were rolling, Jimmy. What are your thoughts as we're 3 weeks from the end of the season and the Bears are still riding high?
My thoughts are Caleb Williams played a very good game. He threw, and this has been talked about ad nauseum this week, but that pass to DJ Moore, still don't know how he caught it in the end zone. The running game is still on par. Their defense bends and doesn't break. Them not giving up that touchdown at the end of the game, I think was gigantic for this team. They, went out there with just 3 points, not 10. It still would have been a huge win, but they didn't give up that final touchdown. And you had 3 interceptions again? Unbelievable. That Jalen Johnson interception, how did that happen? Then finally, Myles Garrett got 1.5 sacks, so he did not break the record against us. So let's go with that. I was happy about that as well.
Yeah, Williams, I think Jimmy hit the nail on the head there when he mentioned the running game. That's one of those things with your great play callers out there, right? We talk about Ben Johnson and Goff, right? And we talk about Shanahan and all the things that he can do with the quarterbacks. But the secret sauce to these guys is the running game, and that's kind of what has been the trick for the Bears turnaround, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has been. They've been awesome running game. Before we get to that, I did pick up Bears D and played him against Shador Sanders. Got me 17 points in fantasy this week, so I advanced to the semifinals. Not that Rod cares about that, but the defense coming along pretty good. And who would have thought that going into the season, who would have thought that the Bears with DeAndre Swift and Roshan Johnson and Kyle Monangai, the 7th rounder from Rutgers, would be the second leading rushing offense in the NFL this year. Props to our Lord and Savior.
Have you guys at any point this year with Monungai and you guys being of the age that I am and also Wayne's World fans, have you guys found yourselves going cream of song Monungai, kind of like old Rob Lowe does when he says cream of song young guy? Have you guys ever done that? Or am I the only one that's making that association?
I have not done that, but that's terrific. I love that. Yeah.
It must just be me. All right. Well, we celebrated the Bears and we celebrated Phillip Rivers as the face once again, but as in wrestling, and boy, was there a heel in wrestling this week? Jimmy and I are going to get to that soon, but there has to be a heel in football, and we have another amazing coincidence this week. The heel is also the same person catching scorn from Williams for Are You Serious? So I'm just going to get out of the way here for both of these guys. Jimmy, you start, and then Williams, you pick it up with whatever he doesn't get. Mike Brown, you don't want to listen to the next part of this podcast.
Williams, go for it, bud.
I mean, Are You Serious? Mike Brown. Do you guys remember a few years ago when the fans shoveled out the stands in Buffalo? Those fans loved their team. They would do anything for their team. Cincinnati fans love their team also. But you know what? The owner doesn't want to pay the fans to shovel out the stadium, which is by law going to be fined by the NFL because, Mike Brown, you are too cheap to pay your fans. The fans who want to shovel out those stands so that they can come in and watch your crappy team play. They want to do that, but you won't do that.
Now, hold on, Williams, real quick. Real quick. We got to pause just here on this, all right? That's on the NFL, okay? If the NFL's fine for not getting rid of the snow is cheaper than what Mike Brown can pay somebody to remove it, that's on the NFL. They got to change their fine number. I'm sorry. You got to change your fine number. It's just pure business economics there. I'm not agreeing with Mike Brown, but if he can get off cheaper paying the fine than he can if he actually pays people to remove it, can you blame the guy? You can call him mean and cheap, but can you blame him? That's on the NFL.
I mean, he's got a bajillion dollars. I'm pretty sure he can afford it, but I see your point. But my point is this organization from the top, the owner, the general manager, and the head coach, they all need to go. And you wonder why Joe Burrow was up there at a press conference. He looked like somebody just kicked his dog. He doesn't know if he wants to do this anymore because you know why? Getting hurt, getting injured year after year after year after year after year, it becomes old and you don't want to do it. That's when the fun gets taken out. And us as fans, we deserve to be entertained by this NFL. Why are we watching this NFL? To be entertained. Joe Burrow is one of the 4 best quarterbacks in the league. He's one of the 10 best players in all of football, and he's playing for this crap organization led by Mike Brown, who can't get out of his own way. And you wonder why Carson Palmer 10, 15 years ago said, I will never play another down for the Cincinnati Bengals. We all thought back then, wow, this guy must be entitled, a California guy, USC. We didn't really know back then. He said, I will never play another down for Cincinnati. I will either retire or you trade me. And my God, he was unlucky because they traded him to another terrible organization with the Raiders. But I'm just saying, the Bengals, I think it's gotten so bad now that I think Goodell needs to step in. This organization is absolute trash. Burrow does not deserve this. Burrow deserves so much better. Us fans, we deserve so much better. Jimmy, take it over.
That was my take too, Williams. It's more of the Burrow thing. You have a generational quarterback. Everyone agrees one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL when healthy, but he's never healthy. Why? Because you don't have an offensive line. Well, now wait, I paid the receivers. Well, yeah, you did. This past year, you finally paid the receivers after getting your teeth pulled to do it. You are worth, according to Forbes, between $3.9 and $4.1 billion. Remember that, please. Yes, all their money is in the Bengals, but they have one of the smallest scouting departments in the NFL. They don't have the luxuries that other teams have for their players. And obviously, like you said, they don't really care about the fans. Now, was that ice on the seats and everything? Yeah. Were ushers there to help? Yeah. But did you see all the TikToks and all the other videos before the game? They didn't let them in until like 2 minutes before the game because they were still trying to get everything taken care of. That's just sad. I love Cincinnati. I lived in Cincinnati for a decade. It will always be really, it's one of my second homes. I love it so much. The fans are so passionate. Give them something. And now you're going to trade Joe Burrow to the New York Jets for 2 number 1 picks. Congratulations. You still have nothing.
Yeah, they don't necessarily have a great track record of number 1 picks there in Cincinnati either. You just spoke to the scouting department being pretty terrible there. I heard a stat earlier this week. I don't have the exact numbers here, but I still know the general sense of it. There's a quarterback that I don't like to mention that played for the Indianapolis Colts who decided that football wasn't fun for him anymore because he was getting beat around and little nagging injuries and sacked all the time. Joe Burrow's numbers dwarf that quarterback whose name I will not say. So, man, Joe Burrow sounds like a guy who is holding up a newspaper in a hostage video at times in these press conferences. So release Joe Burrow so that he doesn't suffer the same fate as a quarterback who I still refuse to name. But I'll say this, if Burrow walks away and I realize that Burrow has a reason to walk away, perhaps it will soften me and I will once again refer to a quarterback who I believe wore 12 in Indianapolis for a number of years, I think. But I still can't bring myself to say his name, Jimmy. I'm still being petty. I apologize.
I was going to bring that up too. Thanks for reminding me. That was staggering when the difference, and we know because we watched it, how the quarterback who shall not be named was just destroyed and just couldn't do it anymore physically because, he needed more medication than he was comfortable taking.
Yep, and we don't want to see Joe Burrow suffer the same fate. We don't have a Leatherheads this week. Chris will give us 2 nominations next week. When he comes back, it will be
It's Phil Rivers. He was going to give it to Rivers.
So let's move on to Against the Spread picks. Williams is hot. We had a 2 in a week last week. And, I see here that he actually picks a game that folks are going to care about. That's exciting. Green Bay, Chicago, happening on a Saturday. Don't worry about watching the first game on Saturday, okay? As Bill Simmons likes to call this is a don't get divorced weekend, all right? There is no reason to watch this first game now. As much as I love me some Gardner Minshew, no reason to watch this game. Everybody settle in for the second game because it's a big one. Williams, what do you got?
All right. You guys knew I had to do it. I'm going with your Chicago Bears plus 1.5, minus 120 on FanDuel. And make sure you get this on FanDuel because the Bears have moved to -1 at Caesars, which is a sharper book. So that's good news for the Bears right there. And just like how Ben Johnson built up that Detroit offensive line and used the 2-back system there, the Bears are the number 2 rushing offense in the NFL this year. How about that? I mean, that's pretty amazing. I mentioned it earlier. Who would ever thought with that trio leading into the season that they'd be the number 2 rushing offense? And this is a bad situational spot for the Packers. This is back-to-back road games. They're coming off playing in altitude. Now you go on short rest to play your arch rival who you just beat 2 weeks prior, but this time without Micah Parsons, who tore his ACL last week. Pack also lost Zach Tom, really good right tackle. Christian Watson got banged up in that game, and they also lost safety Evan Williams. You guys get this. Teams that played Denver the previous week are 0-5 against the spread the following week thereafter because of the altitude, because of how good that defense is, I think. And I just think, finally, that this might be the Bears' time. I've been holding back all year with the Bears, and I think this is the game where this stadium, Soldier Field, is going to be absolutely bananas on Saturday night. I think that the Packers come in licking their wounds here, and I think the Bears know that they have a shot to win the division or put themselves in a pretty damn good spot if they win this game to win the division. And who would have thought that going into this year? They were projected last in the NFC North this year. So this is a huge, huge game for the Bears. They were one play away from tying the last game against Green Bay. Now we get them in Soldier Field. Give me the Bears plus 1.5 on Saturday night.
Jimmy, this is going to be an absolutely wild crowd at Soldier Field. Okay, we're talking about a Saturday evening start. Okay, so this isn't people having to get started tailgating at 9 o'clock in the morning for a 1 o'clock Sunday game and then working on Monday. Okay, this is a Saturday evening game where everybody's got Sunday off. They got plenty of time to get lubed up before the game, and it's going to be unseasonably warm in Soldier Field on Saturday. They're talking near the 50s, right? We're not down in the 30s. We're not down in the 20s. It's not snowing. Man, if you're a Green Bay Packer fan, I wouldn't wear anything green into Soldier Field this Saturday. That's all I'm saying. Derek, we love you, but you shouldn't be anywhere near Chicago this Saturday because there's going to be some angry Bear fans.
It's going to be wild, and this is the game that the Bears lose. We need them to win. This is the new era. The Bears have 10 wins. Rod, I know you've been a Bears fan for months and months and months. This is so exciting. They already have 10. We're still nervous that they're not going to make the playoffs with 10 wins, but they do. They just need to win this game to go to 11, and they're basically, essentially guaranteed to be in the playoffs. We need this win. Williams can do it. Running backs can do it. Defense needs to step up. Unfortunately, the Packers did lose Parsons in a horrible injury. That's a good thing, obviously, for the Bears, not having him play. It's time to do it. There's no excuses. We got to do this.
I love it, Jimmy, what you just said there. Go ahead, Williams.
Yeah. You want to talk about the Bears game or the Packers game. The Bears always lose this game last week against the Browns.
That too.
The Bears,
you're right.
The look-ahead game, the Bears always lose that game. And not only did they not lose that game, they took care of business right away in that game. So I know there's some people out there who thinks that 22 of the 32 teams stink. But you know what? There's letdown games all the time, and the Bears have not had a letdown game once this year. So that's props to the coach and getting him prepared. I think you're going to see a super focused Bears team on Saturday night.
We lost Rob Reiner. Shout out legendary Hollywood director Rob Reiner. Terrible circumstances surrounding all of that. But we remember Spinal Tap. And what's the great line in Spinal Tap? This one goes to 11. And that's what the Bears are trying to do this weekend. Go to 11. Let's get it done, Bears. Another pretty big game in the AFC is the Patriots of New England coming off a loss at Buffalo. Josh Allen still seems like he is the big man on the block in the AFC. And the feisty Baltimore Ravens, who won last week but lost the week before that, so everybody kind of got off the scent. Pittsburgh's back, maybe going to run the NFC North. Williams, what do you see in this game?
Yeah, and this game correlates with the game who I just talked about in two different ways. We'll get to that in a second. I am going with the Baltimore Ravens -2.5. Make sure you get that -122 on FanDuel. It is -3 everywhere else. So get this. Lamar is 18-8 against the spread in December. And did you guys know in weeks 15 through 18 in his career, Lamar is 16-0 straight up. Could not believe that when I read that. So since the bye, the Ravens are second in rush EPA. The first 7 weeks of the season, they were 22nd. So they've improved there. I think they're going to go with more RPOs. The fullback tight end Charlie Kohler has been awesome in the run blocking game. The Pats rush D since week 8, 30th in rushing success rate allowed, 30th in rush defense EPA. They've lost big defensive tackle Milton Williams. The Pats were one of the healthiest teams for the first 10 to 12 weeks, but now some injuries have popped up. They still won't have offensive tackle Will Campbell for this game. And Robert Spillane at linebacker, who calls their plays. He's currently in a boot. He's not going to play. And the other linebackers have had a real tough time covering tight ends in the seams. They struggle versus heavy formations. Baltimore Ravens love to run heavy formations. They love to go 12 and 13 personnel. The Ravens D has been playing better since week 6. Also, 5th in EPA per play, 5th in success rate, first versus the run. The one area where the Ravens are still struggling is the red zone offense, only scoring a touchdown on 44% of their opportunities. That's second worst in the league. But guess who is the worst red zone defense in the league, giving up touchdowns? I can't believe it either, based on the record. But yes, it's none other than the New England Patriots. The Pats, Rod, have been the smoke and mirrors team this whole time. It's like in Scooby-Doo when the audience thinks it's the Bears who have been committing these crimes the whole time, only to find out when the gang catches them, it's not really the Bears at all. They take off the mask, and it's been the New England Patriots the whole time. They're the ones that have been masquerading as the good team all year. Take the Scooby-Doo mask off, and you'll find not only they have played the easiest schedule all year, they've also been the luckiest team all year, 14 for 19 on fourth downs. Their opponents are 8 for 23. They fumbled the ball 17 times They've only lost 7. Meanwhile, they've recovered 66% of their opponent's fumbles. 7 of their 11 wins, the Patriots, have come against either rookie quarterbacks or QBs that have gotten benched. Guys, I've solved the mystery. The Pats are the smoke and mirrors team, while the Bears are actually the good team this year. Give me the Ravens -2.5, -122 on FanDuel on Sunday Night Football.
That was absolutely fabulous. Wake Up Dead Man just dropped on Netflix. Williams just gave us his Benoit Blanc moment right there. He solved the mystery. He revealed all of the characters. That was absolutely fabulous. And I think also, Jimmy, what Williams just did right there was absolutely guarantee that he cannot get a job at the Ringer Podcasting Network with that kind of breakdown about the Patriots right there.
Yeah, I don't know if it was career-wise the best choice of words, but I really do appreciate you just sinking our podcast further and further down. Thank you very much, Williams. I do like that. That Lamar Jackson stat was insane. Wow. That's something to think about. Is it the same Lamar that's done those past 16, though?
Williams has been pro Lamar for a long time. His original appearance on this podcast as the anonymous gambler, one of the first things he gave out to us was Lamar MVP before Lamar won MVP. So he's been a foundation of this podcast. You know what else is the foundation of this podcast? Wins League. Williams, you've got the updates for us. I have a feeling you're probably still on top. Chris and I are trying our best to catch up to you.
Yeah, so Rod, you got 3 wins last week. You're up to 57. Chris had 3 wins last week. He's up to 60. Jimmy, tied for his best week of the year, had 4. He's up to 41. And I had a really good week. I had 6. So I am up to 65.
Man, that's Williams has opened up a 4-5 game lead. Only 3 weeks left. Jimmy, it's looking like the handicapper's going to win again.
Well, he should, Rod, and that's good.
Yeah.
He should be the best, and for consistency's sake, I should be the worst, so I think we're okay.
Yep, everything is good in the world there. We also like to do survivor picks, just something else fun to do on this podcast. We have all died numerous deaths over the season, I have died the most. We've all lost 2 times in a row now, thanks to Jimmy finally losing for 2 times in a row, thanks to his pick last week. I'm going to start this one off. I'm going to go with another one near and dear to my heart. That's what I've been doing recently. I'm going to go with my guy, Jacoby Brissett, and the Cardinals over the hapless Falcons. Boom. That's my survivor pick.
Cardinals have looked really rough the past couple of weeks, and the Falcons have looked a little bit better. So, Rod, that's really on brand with you, and you've done pretty good with it so far. I like that a lot. Williams, who you got?
I'm just double checking here. Rod, you went Zona?
Did Jacoby. Did I pick them once already this year?
I'm going to go Buffalo.
Buffalo. That's good. That's good. The Bills are trying to sneak in and get the 1 seed in the AFC. I don't know if they'll be able to do it. I think Denver's got it locked up, but the Bills are trying to fight hard. So I like that. Williams, any other football nuggets you want to drop on the people here before we let you go and Jimmy and I move on to the other business of the pod?
So I don't get to pick, Rod?
Yeah, we can go Jimmy.
No,
don't get to pick?
Jimmy, you don't get a pick. You lost twice in a row. You're done.
All right, then.
No, you're not done. I've lost so many times, and I keep picking.
I'm going to go, of course, with on brand with me. I'm going to go the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to beat the Dolphins. All right, they've got Quinn Ewers coming in, so why not? Mike Brown, he could be the face next week. You never know.
You know what else? We could have the Bengals could be looking at their starting quarterback next year, right? Tua probably going to be out of Miami if Joe Burrow gets moved on. Maybe the Bengals
That's
will
another
take
great
Tua
trade to make.
at a discounted price.
Send Burrow down there. That'd be great.
Yeah, why not? All right,
so
everybody
wait, we
will be
are
happy.
a football podcast, right, guys? We talk football, right, on this podcast?
Sometimes.
Should we
basketball.
mention one of the biggest injuries in the past, 5-10 years? Should we mention that at all, Williams? What do you think?
Yeah, that was rough. That kind of stuck. To lose Mahomes, man. That's and AFC. We're not going to have Burrow in the playoffs. We're not going to have Mahomes, and we might not have Lamar. So, man, if there's ever a year for Josh Allen to get to the Super Bowl, I mean, this might be the year.
All that stands in his way is Phillip Rivers. Let's go, Bolo tie. Jimmy, you're right that Patrick Mahomes got hurt, but honestly, can you feel sorry for Kansas City at all? I mean, nobody wants to see anybody go down with an ACL injury, but can you feel sorry for Kansas City at all? I just can't. I'm sorry. I just can't feel sorry for them at all.
I think what you're meaning is you can't feel sorry for them. You know, they're having a bad season and they're not going to make the playoffs. No, they've had a great run. I think they've played 2 or 3 more seasons than everybody else has over the same period of time. It does suck that Mahomes is going to have to spend an entire offseason rehabbing and getting ready to come back. But yeah, it's time for some new blood. I still don't bet. I still think the Chiefs somehow get in. I don't know how, but I still think they get in somehow.
I love that. I'm pretty sure they're mathematically eliminated, but Jimmy's still holding out hope. That's absolutely awesome. You know what I'm looking forward to is Mahomes' body when he comes back, because he's already kind of famous for being a bit of a dad bod guy anyway. So what's he going to look like after he's had a whole offseason and not necessarily playing? Boy, he's going to be awfully mushy. I shouldn't talk. I'm not a professional athlete, but it's what they say about Patrick. All right. That's enough for the football show for this week. We will come back at you next week. Jimmy, what do you think? Tuesday next week, probably?
Probably Tuesday, yes. Probably Tuesday next week.
Yeah, so we're not hollering anybody on Christmas Eve or Christmas. Williams, what do you got for us?
Yeah, I got one more thing. So if this correlates with the two bets against the spread here, if I'm right with these two and the Patriots lose, Abel right now is the leader on DK for Coach of the Year. I think those odds are going to go down. I think if the Bears in prime time beat the Packers, the Bears who have won 5 games last year, I think Ben Johnson plus 650 at DK is a great bet. That's going to go down. The other two guys who are in front of him, Liam Cohen, who has a ridiculously tough game at Denver, and then Mike McDonald. And if Seattle doesn't win the division there, which the Rams could easily win that division, and Seattle still has 3 tough games left, the last 2 against at Carolina and versus San Fran, I think. And then the Bears get, after the Packers game, the Bears get San Fran at San Fran. They have 2 extra days to prepare for that game. Week 18, they get the cold weather Detroit game, golf outdoors. That game might not mean anything for Detroit. So you have the Bears, Ben Johnson, 2 prime time games, because that Sunday night game against San Fran is on Sunday night. We have a Saturday night game, 2 prime time games, Chicago big market. You're telling me that the Bears, who won 5 games last year, if they can get to 11 or 12, that Ben Johnson's not going to win Coach of the Year? I think it's tremendous value. Plus 650 right now on DK is the best price. Go get it. Go snatch it up right now.
Look at that. Jimmy Williams is actually giving out a bet like that and not just doing it for himself. We're getting somewhere.
I like that, Williams. Hopefully not, because last time we had Coach of the Year in this first year, it didn't end too well.
It's actually true,
No,
too.
but I've had success with this Coach of the Year market. Hit Stefanski like 4 years ago. Hit Dayball like 3 years ago.
Both are going well. Good for their team.
Yes.
Good. Definitely want them to be Coach of the Year. Yeah, definitely.
Hey,
absolutely fabulous.
If you can't get on board with that Coach of the Year, on DK, you could bet the Bears over 11.5 wins. So all they have to do is win 2 out of 3. That's plus money right now. That's plus 130. I cannot believe that. I think the Bears are rolling right now, and hopefully they can get this done.
All right, I gotta push back against the Bears love here. Chris would be going crazy with all the Bears love that came out on this episode. So in honor of the old man not being here, we are just going to end it.
I've waited this long, Rod. You've asked me when I was going to hop on this Bears team. I've waited this long. Now I can see it. I can see the light, Rod.
There we go. How high, Ridge? I could not tell. All right, that's a little Waiting for Guffman reference for all you folks there. Jimmy and I are going to talk a little bit of basketball on the other side. Williams, you've got to do the Chris part here.
Goodbye, Internet.
Wally Pipp.
Welcome to the Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. Rod and I are here, and we have to go directly to the Wins League because the reigning, the defending. I'm in second. Jim has 72 wins. Wu-Tang has 71 wins. Derek has 61 wins. Rod is the Jimmy of the basketball, has 50.
Yeah.
And the old man Chris, who's not even here, has 74 wins because apparently the Jazz, Raptors, Grizzlies, Lakers, and Wolves, that's a really good lineup, are all good. Rod, your Clippers pick is not looking good, and I want to start there. We know they're bad, but when you look at the standings, Rod, the Clippers have 6 wins on the season, and it's Christmas. What's going on?
I think this is a case of it's good to have a lot of veterans on your team when things are going right and you're in games that are close and you need, guys with experience. You need guys that aren't afraid of the moment, right? You need guys that have been there before. But the problem is when you have veterans that are that keen on their circumstances and surroundings and know the machinations of an NBA season and its ups and downs, when it starts going bad, guys can tend to be like, well, what's the point? And I just think that there's a whole lot of that going on with the Clippers right now, right? You're seeing zero effort out of James Harden. I mean, James Harden's not the most spry defender throughout the peak years of his career anyway, but he is
that
just
rebound
terrible.
was sad.
Yeah, there's just, sad. I mean, he's not even trying to box anybody out. So, Kawhi, he operates on his own schedule anyway. Then you got guys like Nick Batum, right? Chris Paul apparently got thrown out of town just because all he was trying to do was bring the team together. Like, how dare he? You know what I mean? How dare you, Chris Paul, try to throw a party and have everybody come together and trying to fight for a common good? Like, how dare you, Chris Paul? Don't you understand that we all have given up and you trying to fight hard and get this thing back on track? We can't possibly have that. We need to throw you out. Rod Dimnation, Jimmy. I should have given Rod Dimnation out to the Clippers a couple of weeks ago when they first did the Chris Paul situation, but they're going to get it now. Because no matter what the Clippers do, they keep falling all over themselves. We got the All-Star game coming up in Los Angeles soon. We still got absolutely zero resolution about what's coming in their investigation. We got no effort out of them. They've won 6 wins. They're way high up on the salary cap. They got no young guys, zero future. Rod Dimnation for the Clippers on so many levels.
Agreed. And we were remiss about not talking about Chris Paul a couple of weeks ago, but that has just been another list in a long line of Clippers mistakes throughout the years. I guess it doesn't matter who the owner is, how rich they are, how much they love the team. The decision-making is just really poor, and you've got to think, are they going to try to salvage this at all, or are they just going to run through the rest of the season and see what happens?
Well, I think what's going to benefit them, Jimmy, is there's a couple of teams below, or actually there's a couple of teams above them right now that I don't think are interested in staying in those positions, vis-a-vis Utah right now, right? Like at some point, Utah's going to kick this thing in and do what Utah does. They're not interested in winning games because they don't want to give that top 8 protected pick away. So they got to be really, really bad to make sure that they're inside the top 8. So I think some of the teams ahead of the Clippers are going to fall back. And you said it yourself, like as long as these guys don't completely quit, they'll probably start turning around a little bit. And the play-in is probably in their future, which is definitely not what you want with a team as expensive as the Clippers are.
It's very difficult not to be in at least a play-in range. I mean, they're only 4 games back now from that 10th seed, so it's not like the season is over. But you're right. They're going to be right at that 9-10 mark, maybe even 11-12 out of that first round. And then, of course, they'll get the number 1 pick overall, I'm sure. And we all know what happens to that. 2 teams that I do not think are going to be in the play-in, the Knicks and the Spurs. We had a champion crowned, Rod, and we didn't even break in an emergency pod. The New York Knickerbockers are your NBA Cup champions, 124-113 over the Spurs. Good for the Knicks finally winning something, right?
See, Jimmy, I'd love to have that take. But I've actually got a second Rod Dimnation for you here in this quick, fast break, and it's for the Knicks, and it's for their refusal to hang the NBA Cup banner. Come on. Just come on. All right? There's no such thing as a jinx. Your fans haven't had the chance to celebrate anything in forever. The NBA wants this NBA Cup to be something. The Lakers put the banner up. The Bucks put the banner up. Put the stinking banner up, Knicks. Stop trying to act like you're too good for the NBA Cup championship because you're not even too good for an NBA championship. You haven't won one since the 70s. James Dolan, for 1 second, stop trying to poke your finger in the eye of Adam Silver in the NBA and allow the NBA Cup banner to be hung up, if for nothing else, for the fans that pack Madison Square Garden, even though they hate you and are some of the most passionate fans in the NBA. Don't do it for yourself, James Dolan. Do it for the fans. Rod Dimnation in the Knicks, Jim.
You're coming out hot tonight, and I love it. I saw that. You kind of have to. You know that money that you're getting for the Cup, the Emirates Cup? You need to do that. And Adam Silver today said we're going to probably move the NBA Cup finals to somewhere else, maybe a college arena, or maybe, I don't know, Madison Square Garden. Who knows where it could be? I guess it's not going to be there now, I'll tell you that. I don't understand why you just don't go along with it. I know it's kind of, it's a new thing. Just put it up. It's not hurting anything. You know, as a Colts fan, as a Pacers fan, I think we have a lot of those Eastern Conference and AFC South and divisional banners up. Why not throw an NBA Cup up? At least it's a championship.
Jimmy, did you say the name Adam Silver right there?
I did.
Believe it or not, Jimmy, I have a third Rod Damnation cooked up. That's how hot I am. This Rod Damnation is for the NBA Commissioner Adam Silver, who had an obligatory press conference on the NBA Cup final day, and he stood up in front of the media and basically said absolutely nothing. I've had it with Adam Silver, Jimmy. I have had it with Adam Silver. He is too much of a lawyer. He is too much of a gentle hand. He is too much of an owner stooge. He refuses to make decisions. And the one that I will call him out for here, Jimmy, because I don't want to get too deep into economics of European expansion and NBA expansion and all that stuff. We don't need to get in those weeds. But somebody asked him, what are you going to do about the Miami Heat situation? Terry Rozier, expiring contract, draft pick compensation that seems to be a little bit fuzzy because clearly the Hornets and the NBA knew that Terry Rozier was under investigation for a gambling infraction, didn't tell the Heat. The Heat get saddled with this. Because of the protection on the pick, Miami can't trade a couple of other years of draft picks, and they don't know if they can trade Terry Rozier's salary. They're waiting for a decision from the NBA. Adam Silver gets asked about this, and he says, boy, geez, I don't know. This is a really, really complicated situation. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with this. What do you mean you're not entirely sure what you're going to do with this? Whose job is it, Adam? The buck stops with you, buddy. The only thing that you're supposed to do is figure out situations like this. Fine, you don't want to make it a precedent of rescinding trades and giving Miami back their draft pick. I think that that's poppycock, to quote something that I said last night. But you can at least tell Miami that they can trade Terry Rozier's contract, and then the team that acquires him can waive him. You can at least do that. Adam Silver, Rod Damnation for you.
Very easy to sit down and come up with a decision on this because it has to be made. And like you said, make it so they can trade Terry Rozier. Make it so they can trade the pick trading kind of resets so that doesn't count, so they can actually do some moves. Make that happen. Compensatory pick, that's tough, but you do have to make it a law, by law, that says if there's anyone is under federal investigation for anything, you need to tell the other team before you trade them. I mean, that's just crap. I hate that. That is just, you're obviously your own entity as the team, but you're part of something bigger, and you are devaluing the league when you do something like that. So there's a little bit of a Jim Damnation there for the Hornets as well.
And I'll tell you what else, Jamie, let's be real. This ain't going to be the last time that an investigation into a player possibly doing some malfeasance involved with gambling is going to come up. So we better start getting something down in the bylaws.
All right, let's end on a high note here, Rob.
We
don't have Chris here. Next week, we're going to talk about our MVP table, which is nice. So ending on a high note, Kevin Garnett is back with the Timberwolves after, a decade now of fighting Glenn Taylor, the previous owner. The Timberwolves are going to make him an ombudsman and retire his jersey, something long overdue. As someone, and Rod, you were right there with me, who saw a high school student graduate and then a month later be drafted in the NBA, something that had not been seen since, I think, Moses Malone. And he was good, which was both great for the high school players and really bad for high school players. Unbelievable story, Kevin Garnett, and it's great to see him back in the teal, black, green, whatever, bluish colors.
The Timberwolves have quite a few over the year. I don't blame you for not being able to immediately recall which color you should go with there. I got to admit, Jimmy, I got to pull my fan hat out here for a second. I like to think of Kevin Garnett in the 5 with the green for the Celtics, screaming, anything can happen or anything is possible, right? Like, I like to think about Kevin Garnett that way. He is a beloved Celtic, but he was a Timberwolf before he was a Celtic, went back to the Timberwolves, means everything to that organization, fought hard for that organization, right? I mean, he was basically a husk of himself when he got to the Celtics because of how hard he played and how much he gave to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Harkening back to our Joe Burrow conversation a little bit, Jamie, I think Kevin Garnett is a bit of the NBA version of that, right? His first 8, 9, 10 years in Minnesota, they didn't have a lot around him. They weren't going a lot of places, but he was giving everything he had, right? Blocking 2 shots a game, getting a couple of steals, scoring 24 points, grabbing boards, right? Doing just everything for that team, being the emotional center, being the leader, and it got him absolutely nowhere. So I'm happy that Kevin Garnett is back with the Timberwolves if it makes him happy, right? If that's what Kevin wants and he's cool with the situation now, I'm happy about it because Kevin Garnett doesn't play. So you know that everything is lined up the way he needs it to be, or he would not be back with the Timberwolves.
And with that, you've been listening to The Fast Break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. Rod and Jim are coming right now with the Yeah We Know podcast.
Scene.
Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcasting network. In the ring with Jimmy and Rod. Chris, we miss you. We wish you were here. What do you want to start talking about right now, Rod?
Jimmy, I think we have to start with a huge congratulations to me. I have to break my arm patting myself on the back. The exact reason that John Cena tapped out to Gunther was confirmed by John Cena after the match, and is exactly what I said would happen, that he would tap because the man who wouldn't give up finally decided to give up. The wry smile on his face as Gunther had him in a headlock as he was about to tap out said everything that needed to be said. I am the wrestling expert on this podcast now, Jimmy, and not you. How does it feel?
Feels great because now I can just say random shit that doesn't make any sense, and I love it. It's terrific.
Hurtful.
My favorite tweet, my favorite meme has been the Obi-Wan Kenobi parallel, where Kenobi and Darth Vader are fighting in Star Wars. And Kenobi brings a lightsaber up, gives that little smile, and Darth Vader kills him, which is kind of exactly what happened, because we talk all the time, Rod, about what happens the next day. Well, the next day, Gunther got booed out of the building like a Sith Lord who just killed everyone's favorite Jedi. Apparently it worked, Rod.
Yeah, that was some colossal heat. I mean, we haven't seen anybody with heat like that for a while, actually since Gunther, probably, right? Like, that's the other thing about Gunther.
Yeah.
I don't think he had this level of heat after he took down Goldberg, because people didn't like Goldberg as much as they liked Cena, but it adds to the I'm taking down legends. But when he choked out McAfee, he had some pretty serious heat going right then and there. And yeah, he was, that was heat. And that was Vince McMahon was sitting somewhere, Jimmy, and he probably is the kind of guy that doesn't like to give Triple H a lot of credit, but that was Vince McMahon to a T. You know, somewhere he was sitting back absolutely loving that, going, now that's heat.
It was heat. Now, going back to the match, you know, he got out so many times, and the people were not ready for him to tap like that. And so many times now, ever since the Undertaker streak ended and you had the meme of the guy's face, everyone tries to look for the camera after something happens so they could be the new meme. This didn't feel like that to me. It really felt like a lot of people were going to cry after this end. They did not get their happy ending. They were extremely upset at Triple H. And as a fan, first of all, I'm invested in wrestling, but I'm not going to lose sleep over any of this, to be honest. I don't think it ended how it should have. I don't. Even though everything is right with Gunther right now. I think Cena should have probably won. But I'm fine with him losing there. I'm fine with him tapping out. Yeah, never give up, never give up. He gave up. Well, it was time for him to move on. So looking at those people's faces, you did your job as a promoter. You did your job as storytelling over this last year. You know, we'll look back at this and say, you know, was this the greatest year? Cena had some good matches to end it. This was a very good match and one of the better WWE. I'll say this is a PLE. Saturday Night's Main Event. It's still on Peacock. It's a PLE. It was one of their better PLEs I think they've had.
I agree with you. I enjoyed the NXT matches. And of course, anytime a certain name gets said, I'm going to love it. And that appeared in Saturday Night's Main Event. So we'll get to that too. But Jimmy, I have one more question related to the Cena and the heat. You brought up Triple H there. You said that's what you're supposed to do as a promoter. You said that's what you're supposed to do as a storyteller. I don't think that Triple H wants to do what Vince McMahon did. But we also know that you have to rehash, you know, some stories in wrestling, right? You kind of put a new bow on something. Did Triple H give himself the opportunity to be a Mr. McMahon type figure here for a little while because the amount of heat that he garnered for just himself after that match was over?
He did. I don't think they need that right now just because of how the product is and how it's still going pretty strong. But he does have that opening in the next year or so to come back and be that bad guy to go against the baby face. Obviously, he's not wrestling anymore. He's got something in his chest, I believe, that keeps his heart moving. So he'll have to be the second person, but you've got Paul Heyman for that right now. You have other people that are in that role. So while he did give himself an opening, I don't think he's going to take it just yet. But it was interesting. There were AEW chants at a WWE event. Now, calm down, people, first of all. Calm down. It's okay. And anybody who says, oh, Vince would have done a better job with that. No. You didn't watch the last 6 years before Triple H took over. Every match ended like the Obafemi and Cody Rhodes match before Triple H took over, okay? So let's not bring him back. He was on the video. That's fine. That's all we needed. There was nobody else there. Good. Fine. That's all we needed. So Saturday night's main event, we had Obafemi and Cody Rhodes. Obafemi's a star, Rod. Everyone loved him. He looks like a star. He looks like a professional wrestler for those of you who think people are too small or whatever. I don't agree with that, but he has it all. And what did they do? They had a terrific matchup that ended like a lot of other matches have ended, with Drew McIntyre running in because they didn't want to beat either of them. And if you don't want to beat either person, Rod, don't make the match because you don't have
Jimmy,
to.
listen, I said something similar to this leading into the card, didn't I? I mean, I asked a simple question. Why is Obafemi fighting Cody Rhodes? Cody Rhodes. Because you're not going to get anything out of it, right? Because Cody's certainly not going to lose. And then Oba, you don't want him to lose because then he's going to look bad. So, we knew that we were going to get there. And I go back and forth with Drew McIntyre, okay? I get it. The guy can make people angry. I'm a truth teller, but it's only my version of truth, right? It's, it's a good story. Sure. I kind of liked the, all this and him sitting down at his house, right? I often complain that, if you have a good vignette like this, just put it on your television product, but fine, whatever. We can talk about that at another time. So I get that you're advancing the story, but I, like you, was extremely disappointed that that match ended in a schmaz. I just really did. You could get so much more out of a showcase for Obafemi than schmozzing him into more Drew McIntyre BS.
A couple things it did for Obafemi. It got him the opportunity to go in front of a gigantic audience, both on Peacock and in the arena. He was over, so that showed everybody that people know who he is and are excited about him. And he held his own with Cody Rhodes. So that helped him there. But again, that ending just leaves you, two endings left you really just a bad taste in your mouth. For us Bayley fans, maybe the next match didn't help out, but Sol Ruca did defeat Bayley. Sol Ruca's a superstar already. She just needs to be brought up. This women's division, Rod, continues to just impress me so much. We'll talk about Nikki Bella here in a minute, ma'am. But Bayley and Sol Ruca, I thought, had a fine matchup as well. Nice to see Bayley working with Sol Ruca. I really like Sol Ruca.
Do you want to know what I honestly thought about Sol Ruca in that match, Jimmy? You're dead right that she is a superstar and that they need to bring her up right away. And they need to bring her up right away because that is high risk. Everything that she is doing is high risk. We need to get that girl on TV right now doing those things in big spots because she's only going to be able to do them for a couple of years. And the first time one of them goes wrong, they are then going to say, guess what? We're not doing those anymore. So we need to get her in big time matches right now while she has the physical capabilities to be pulling off all of these flips and top rope maneuvers and giving people reverse DDTs off of cartwheels and all of the crazy, insane things that she does.
Agreed completely. Yes. The Soul Snatcher is a terrific name for a move. The move itself looks great. And I think she's going to be nothing but a superstar moving forward. And then we have AJ Styles and Dragon Lee versus Siobhan Evans and Leon Slater. There was a point in the match where AJ Styles tripped on the top rope. Now, it's one of two things happening. Either it was a mistake and Leon Slater, thinking quickly on his feet, went for the cover and then they went to the finish after that, or it was supposed to look like a mistake and they moved on. Either way, I thought it was flawlessly done and I really enjoyed that match. Javon Evans is another person who's ready to go. He's young, which is great because we need young people in the WWE. Again, a nice little showcase match for them.
I'd say the same thing about Javon Evans that I said about Sol Ruca. We got to get that guy doing big time matches because of everything that he does. He's not, I look at it this way, Jimmy, my guy, Seth Rollins, right? Still being a big time main eventer, but every time he would try to pull the dive outside the ring, right, or any of those kind of like more of his high risk stuff, he's been getting himself banged up, right? So it's just like I think Javon Evans, like, okay, Javon Evans at 34, he's not going to be able to do 3 spins jumping that high into the air. You know what I mean? So like let's use the guy up. And I know that sounds terrible, but let's use the guy up right now while he absolutely can. And you're speaking to the spot. My thought there was I'm fine. I'm fine in the hands of AJ Styles. I trust in AJ Styles. He's been around the block. I'm not going to question any spot that goes down in the ring if AJ Styles is involved. So I didn't even think twice about it because I was like, oh, AJ's there. It's fine.
Real quick on Raw before we head out of
Wait a minute.
here.
You're not leaving Saturday
This
night's
Raw
main
next-
event.
Yeah,
Jimmy,
go
wait
ahead.
a minute. We're not leaving Saturday night's main event.
Oh, because we mentioned it before, and I had it, and we mentioned it. Yes, Rod, it's really cool when they do give you some things that you really... The Miz comes out wearing the exact same outfit that he has when he beat John Cena. Perfect. Great touch. R-Truth coming out, great touch. And you were playing with somebody's balls, and this is the person, and he opens up the sheet, and as a viewer, I can see what it says. He says, Joe Hendry, and then his music hits. He's in the ring. They get to do he and Truth are terrific together. Worries me a little bit, just a little bit, that they're not going to take him seriously and he's going to be R-Truth 2.0. But the fans, Rod, the fans loved it and they sang along and they kept singing until Miz told them to shut up. I love it. Our boy, Joe Hendry.
Yeah, I echo your sentiments exactly. I was like Joe Henry and R-Truth together, gold. And then I was like, wait a minute. I would like a few more things for Joe Henry than just what they allow R-Truth to do now. R-Truth is what, 57? So, I mean, there could be a little bit of that at play, right? It could be that R-Truth is actually held back because they're just like, hey, we can't have a 57-year-old man out there doing it too much anymore, right? It might not just be because they don't believe in R-Truth, Joe Henry's not 57, so hopefully he'll still get a run, but use that yourself. Oba's ready to go. Joe Henry's ready to go. We got a couple of people that can step right in when we have to move some of these older guys aside, right? And I hate to say it, Jimmy, but my guy's days as a top of the Carter probably over, right? Kevin Owens, his days as a top of the Carter probably over. You know what I mean? CM Punk.
Watch your mouth.
We're probably working towards the end of him, right? AJ Styles has already said that he's retiring. Roman Reigns doing more movies as we speak, right? Like some of these guys that have been holding down the WWE for the last 4 to 5 years are going someplace, probably on to movies, maybe just popping in 3, 4, 5 times a year. So we got to have guys coming up. And you said it yourself, we got Slater, we got Joe, we got Javon Evans, we got Ricky Saints, we got Oba, right? We're in good hands, Jimmy. We're in good hands. I also, though, did think to myself after Saturday night's main event, and we have AJ and Gunther kind of being locked together, right? Because clearly we're going to have Gunther retiring people. I thought of the name Randy Orton, Jimmy. I thought of the name Randy Orton.
Yep, I think it's going to be a big one.
Because they got to give him some sort of a brouhaha, right? He's a 20-year lifer, you know what I mean? His dad, in the business, right? Like big-time, 14-time champion, like there's got to be a big to-do when Randy Orton finally decides to hang it up.
That is the ultimate, right? It's the legend killer versus the retirer. I don't know what you call Gunther. That will be a big matchup in the year 2026. I guarantee you that one. I'm not sure when it'll be, but that will be a big matchup. Hey, Brock Lesnar too. He's not going to stay around forever, even though it looks like he could.
Right.
CM Punk had a good interview. I thought that was a good
It was
talking segment. But let's get to the only real big story that came out of Raw, which this week's Raw and the next couple weeks of Raw are just kind of going to be shows, nothing major until that big one coming up on Netflix, the first of the year. But we finally had the Masked Man revealed, Rod, and it was Austin Theory. My question to you is, you like the haircut, number one. Number two, do you think it would have been better for them to just reveal him at Survivor Series than wait for 3 weeks? Thoughts on the hair and the reveal?
My thoughts on the hair are, I think he used a suck cut. It's revolutionary. It sucks as it cuts, and you can cut your hair yourself. I think that Austin Theory clearly cut his own hair with the suck cut. Maybe that wasn't the way to go.
Kind of looked like it, yeah.
Austin Theory supporter, continue to think that the guy can be good. I think he's got a little bit of charisma. I think he's got a pretty good body. I think he's got a good move set in the ring. I don't know that I say Survivor Series would have been better for the reveal. I think keeping him masked man for these shows during the holidays and then revealing him at the big Netflix show would have been
Definitely this. I don't think this was it.
Yeah, no,
I
this
really
fell
don't.
flat.
Especially, I think they taped SmackDown before Raw, so these people are on like a 6-hour sitting watching wrestling, right? So it's like, oh yeah, theory. I think I like that. I think I like that better. Yeah, I think the January would have been a good way to do that, just to have everything major happen on that show. I agree with you.
Because we've also had people talking chatter when they tried to deke us. We think Montez Ford was actually behind the mask at one time too, right? So we could have had a scenario where you had two masked men show up at some point. You know what I mean? Or I guess now maybe Montez is going to show up at some point and pull his mask off, and then we're going to have to.
He could.
Yeah. So I'm
have
interested.
Otis come out, pull the mask off. Sorry.
Ooh, Otis.
Yeah,
Listen,
why not? Let's go.
You know me, I love some Otis. But speaking of Otis, Maxine Dupree, Jimmy, we haven't brought that up. I think that the vignettes are good for her. And what I love about the vignettes, Jimmy, is we are essentially maybe launching two people with these vignettes, right?
Yes.
Because we're doing the low-key Natty thing here as well.
Yes, Natty Neidhart coming back, coming strong. I like it. I wish the best for her. Let's see if they can actually go with her on that, because she's good in the ring, and this character that she has outside of the WWE is pretty good. But that is going to do it for the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcasting network. Next week, little tease here. Looks like on Tuesday we're going to be casting, and then we're going to have our end of the year Yeah We Know is coming up soon after. As soon as we figure out when that is, and it's kind of on me, and I haven't done it yet, so we'll figure it out.
Listen, the Yeah We Know is always one of our favorites. Chris will have nominations that will be absolutely insane. Jimmy and I will have nominations that real wrestling fans can get behind. The Yeah We Know is a tradition unlike any other. I just broke my pen. That's not what Chris says at the end of the podcast.